Working mothers in Mexico face a number of challenges related to work life balance, gender inequality, and access to childcare. According to data from the INEGI, women make up roughly 30% of the formal labor force in Mexico, and a significant portion of them are working mothers. One of the main challenges faced by working mothers in Mexico is a lack of access to affordable and quality childcare. Many families rely on informal childcare arrangements, such as leaving their children with grandparents or other family members, which can be unreliable and limit women's ability to work full time. Additionally, childcare services that are available can be expensive and of poor quality, making it difficult for women to balance work and family responsibilities. Another challenge is the persistent gender wage gap, which affects women across all sectors and level of education. Women in Mexico earn on average around 20% less than men, and this gap widens for mothers who often face discrimination and are perceived as less committed to their jobs due to their caregiving responsibilities. Well, finally, working mothers also face social and cultural pressure to prioritize their roles as caregivers and homemakers, which can make it difficult for them to balance their work and family responsibilities. And well, this pressure is often exacerbated by the lack of support from employers who may not often offer flexible work arrangements or parental leave policies. And well, to address these challenges, policies that promote gender equality and work family, uh, well, balance and are needed, such as access to affordable and high paid arrangements for women. Additionally, cultural attitudes towards the roles of women and men in society need to be challenged and changed to support working mothers and promote gender equality in the workplace. In summary, working mothers in Mexico face significant challenges related to work life balance, gender inequality, and access to childcare. Policies and cultural shifts that promote gender equality and work family balance are needed to support working mothers and promote a more equitable and inclusive workforce.
Hi. Now that we have talked a little about our problem that it's working mothers in Mexico and the poverty relation to them, we need to emphasize now in our research question that it's will the working mothers get a real benefit from the social programs or it won't help? I know in the introduction we didn't talk about the social programs, but there are giving some social programs to help working mothers given by the government, and these ones are a little help for them to get extra money for them to can live more decently. I mean, not decently, just a little bit of better terms of life. But I mean, they're that's our hypothesis to see if are they getting a real benefit from it or if they aren't. So now I want to talk about my justification. That it's like our objectives. Our objectives are the to observe the amount of working mothers that are in poverty. This given by the INEGI data. Also to analyze their income and compare it to the basic salary for a family. That the basic salary for a family it's 18K pesos. It's a lot of money, and they usually win the minimum that it's 6,000, or also they win less than the minimum. So because they work in informal jobs, so they have a problem with that also. That's a really big issue. Now, talking about the other part of well, my other objective is to study the possible solution for the working mothers. That we have a proposal, but I mean, it's not that viable because of the government we have in Mexico. But I mean, it's a nice idea if the government managed to develop it nicely. Now I wanna talk about my hypothesis. Well, our hypothesis, my bad. That is, if the working mothers earn less than 10k pesos monthly, they won't be able to pay for their kids. The independent variables are formal or informal jobs. The dependent variables are the income of the mothers, and the control variables are the amount of the social help they receive. That they receive really low amount of money, but I mean, we're gonna talk about this like after this. So just to talk about the Secretaría de Bienestar, are the ones that are giving the support for the working mothers. They are trying to priority the vulnerable population and reduce the socioeconomic inequality gaps, to guarantee basic set of human rights, and to contribute to social welfare through sufficient income. So this is their objectives for this project of the help for the working mothers, and the only requirements for the working mothers is that they have a limit of 3 kids, and obviously they have no husband, no help from a male at home, just only them and their kids. I mean, they could live with their parents, but like no dad or uh, the father paying the pension. There is nothing at all. So how much are they winning? They're winning 1,600 pesos bimestrally. That's a really low income. And for discapacity kids, like wheelchairs or something like that, they get 3,600, but only for the kids until they turn 6 years old. And for the kids without disabilities, they win that until they turn 19. So this seeks to provide financial support to the childcare and attention. And just a little resume for working mothers. They are mostly in informal works. They have inconsistent salary, no social security, and no laws that protect them, because there's like since they are in informal jobs and have a really low income, they can't really even fight for their working rights in the Ley Federal del Trabajo, and they're just trying to win some money, so they're not even trying to fight their rights or their basic salary. They just want money for them to take care of their kids. So this is a really big issue. I'm part of it. Now, just to emphasize about the war, the poverty related to the gender around the world, women earn the lowest wages globally, and the wage gap between men and women is 24% statistically in all the world. Now, talking about Mexico, I think it's a little bit higher, but I mean, even in around the world, it's a really high gap between men and women salaries. Now, at the current rate, it will take 170 years to close that gap, and there are 7 million fewer women than men in paid jobs. So this is a really big issue around the world. Now, talking about that, we have working mothers in Mexico. This makes it worse because we have the problem that they have no one that helps them economically. It's them taking care of their childs, or maybe help with like their parents. But I mean, they are trying to earn money for 2 3 kids or even one, but they don't even earn the minimum to live for themselves, and they don't have money for another kid. If they don't even have the money for themselves, it's really hard one. Now I want to show you a graph about this because it's really important to me to show you this graph. Okay, so this graph, in what working mothers work in Mexico, we can see this graph that 2.5% are employees, then 26.2% they work for their own. They can make their services for anything or have a little business. The other 53% they work for subordinated works, or they can be, for example, in cleaning houses, and the rest they don't even have a payment. They just go for example, I'm working for me to receive from you food. So this is a worse problem because working mothers, they're not even getting an income. They're just working for them to have some food. Now, just go for the closure and the conclusion. Our results are that working mothers are not getting the minimum income to them to take care of their family and their kids. They don't even have the money to take care from themselves, and this is a big issue not only in Mexico but on around the world. And the other thing is that our possible solution is, since in the secretaria, in the secretary of the ones that are giving the help for the working mothers, they got a budget operate. They got 100 millions and they used to have 67 millions. And also helpful the social projects that are giving for them to help people are reduced from 100 to 58. Yeah, to 58. So this is also another thing that, since they have fewer um, social projects for helping people, they have more money now, so they can make a redistribution from the money, and they can give working mothers a little bit higher income. So instead of 1,100 pesos bimestrally, I hope they can give them, for example, 5,000 pesos bimestrally. At least that will be a little bit of help for the working mothers, for the food, for the education of the kids, for whatever they needed to. But this would help a lot. And these are our results. And thank you for hearing me. And my name is Santiago Reyes Hernandez, and my other teammate is Emilio Rosales Escobedo. And thank you for everything.